About 5 years ago, I got into a situation where I noticed that I started having these panic attacks in the middle of the night. So I would wake up in a complete panic mode. What would happen would be the sleep apnea would be so bad that my breathing would stop long enough to where my oxygen level dropped to the point where my body just all of a sudden just shot me full of adrenaline, and I would jump out of the bed. I would clear the bed and land flat on my feet and run across the room in total panic. And this was happening 2 or 3 times a night. So I ended up, when I would jump up like that, I thought I was having reflux because I had GERD for a long time, and so it would, a lot of times it would reflux into my throat, but I wasn't having the symptoms of reflux. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what was happening. So I went to a neurologist, and they did a sleep study. I went to the sleep center, and they hooked me up with all these wires coming down off my head. It looked like something from a space movie or something. And I did the sleep study, and it turned out that when I went to see the neurologist the next day, I had 115 apnea episodes that night. So what is an apnea episode? That means you stop breathing for 10 seconds or longer, but it's defined as a 10-second period of time where you're not breathing. So 115 apnea episodes a night. I was basically going, that night that they studied me, I was like 18 minutes of that night, I wasn't even breathing. When that happens, your O2 level drops. My O2 level dropped to 82%. And if it drops below 90%, you're in a medical emergency. I was dropping to 82% for 18 minutes of every night. So needless to say, I had what's defined as severe sleep apnea. And so the doctor called me in, I went in to see him to evaluate the test, and I had an actual surgeon, a neurologist, and he spent 45 minutes with me. That was pretty eye-opening to me, that a neurologist, somebody who's as highly trained as this guy is, he spent 45 minutes with me explaining to me to make sure that I understood how dangerous sleep apnea was for my health. He basically told me that I had to have the CPAP machine, and I had to do it every single night. The risk of me having a heart attack and dying with the sleep apnea that I was having was very, very high. The damage to my brain cells, being basically not breathing for 20 minutes during the night, was over time contributing to what could end up being Alzheimer's or dementia. Sleep apnea is the #1 cause for Alzheimer's. So it's a big deal. Sleep apnea is a big deal, okay? And so now I know why it was happening. Okay, I've been on the CPAP machine now for 5 years. And so since I've been on the carnivore diet, keto for 6 months and carnivore for the last couple of months, my sleep apnea numbers have dropped to almost zero. I was having 18 to 20 episodes per hour. Now I'm down to less than 1 per hour, like 0.8 per hour. So that's a 94% reduction in my sleep apnea episodes. My apnea-hypopnea index is down 94% since I've been on keto and carnivore. That's an incredible improvement. When you talk about sleep apnea and interrupting your sleep at night, there's a lot of things that happen. One is you don't get restful sleep, because once you get into that deep sleep and you stop breathing and you wake up and your body's full of adrenaline and it interrupts your sleep. you're exhausted. I was physically exhausted. I was maybe getting 3 hours of not good sleep every night. I was fatigued. Chronic fatigue was a big deal. Getting out of bed was a challenge. Not only did I ache all over because I was inflamed and my joints hurt and everything else, but I had no energy. I had zero energy and didn't even want to get out of bed. I was overweight. I was considered obese, had a body mass index of 36. I was weighing upwards of 220 pounds probably at the time. That was 4 or 5 years ago. It's all because I was eating wrong. So I got rid of sugar, carbohydrates, and inflammatory seed oils out of my diet. I got rid of the highly processed junk food. And I transitioned to keto. I started doing a ketogenic diet. And I slowly, over a 6-month period of time, I dropped 30 pounds. I started getting rid of things out of my diet. So mainly got rid of the junk food. I was still eating 3 meals a day. I was still having some snacks, even though they were healthy snacks, like nuts and some fruit. Then as I studied it more and I got into it more, I started eating less snacks. I started doing a little bit of fasting, so I would skip breakfast, eat lunch and dinner. Then I stopped eating fruits. I stopped eating the nuts and the snacks and eating more protein and fat, eating more beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And then as I moved towards intermittent fasting and moved towards eliminating the snacks and not wanting snacks anymore, I got past all the cravings. Then I started eating carnivore, and I only eat 1 meal a day now. I eat a big, beautiful plate of ribeye steak, salmon, grilled salmon, shrimp, roast beef. I mean, I eat a big plate of protein every afternoon, night, about 5 or 6 o'clock. And I don't eat anything else the rest of the day. I don't want anything else. My cravings are gone. My hunger pains are gone. What I'm doing is I'm controlling my insulin level. It's all about controlling insulin. If you can keep your insulin level down, your hunger hormones never kick in, so your brain's never telling you that you're starving to death. This is the easiest way to eat. You have big, satisfying ribeye steaks, and you don't have hunger pains. You don't get nauseated from being so hungry. When I was eating carbs, I was eating every 2 hours. I was constantly hungry. You could not fill me up. What a change. I mean, it's been a journey. It's been a major journey from the standard American diet. I mean, I was addicted. I was so addicted to sugar, so addicted to carbohydrates. My body craved more and more and more. Every couple of hours, I had to have something to eat. I would get hangry. I mean, hangry, if I didn't have my 3 meals a day. Okay, so, I mean, what a major change. Now I go 20 hours without food and don't even think about it. I don't get hungry. I'm energetic. When I hit the ground, I get up at 5 or 5:30 every morning. I'm 100%. I start my day 100%. That's even before I have a cup of coffee. And before, I couldn't hardly get out of bed. I feel better than I've ever felt my entire life. I'm 61 years old. And it's been a life-changing transformation. It's been a life-changing journey for me. I've still got 4 or 5 other things on my list that I want to tell you about that I've gotten rid of. But the sleep apnea, I'm scheduled to have another sleep study, a home sleep study, in about probably whenever I lose this next 20 pounds, when I get to my target weight. the doctor said she would have me do the home study, but it looked like, based on the numbers she saw this last month, that I'll be able to get rid of my CPAP therapy. I will no longer have to wear that hose anymore. And also another medicine that I was having to take was the Afrin, because at night, if you're on a CPAP machine and if your hose gets cold during the night, the cold air will stop your nose up, and you'll have to take Afrin to unstop your nose so you can breathe through your CPAP machine. So that's another medication that I won't have to take anymore. That's not very often that happens, but if it's real cold at night, sometimes your hose will get cold and your sinuses will stop up. Anyway, I'll be so glad to get rid of that hose and that face mask around my face every night. It's going to be really nice to go back to a normal way of sleeping again. But that's all it takes. You got to get off the carbs. You got to get off the sugar. You got to get off the processed seed oils. Okay? You can do this. I've done it. I've learned a lot along the way, but it's doable. Everybody can do this. Transition from those high carb habits, transition away from the sugars and all that, and then you kind of get into the keto for a while, and as you start eliminating things from your diet, you're going to see that you feel better and better and better. But it's a journey. Give yourself a little grace, give yourself some time, be patient with the process, give your body time to adjust, but just do it. Go to your pantry and get rid of that junk food. And start. You can start today. There's nothing stopping you from doing this today. You're going to feel better than you've ever felt. You're going to get rid of all these ailments. You're going to get rid of all these medications. You're going to feel 20 years younger. So I'm glad to help you with any of this. Please leave comments. I love hearing your comments. Hit that subscribe and like button. I really enjoy seeing your comments, though. It's very helpful to me to kind of see what you guys would like to hear about my journey to metabolic health. So that's all for now. I'll post another video in a couple of days about something else that I got rid of, going to Carnivore. So take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.